Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Lisa. In today's video, I'm going to show you my favorite way to make journals. I've made several ways. I'm going to show you a couple of the other options there are, but I'm going to show you how I make my favorite way to make journals. So, this is the journal style that I have. These are the ones that are available on my eBay account. If you're new to my channel, you might not realize it, but I have a few left. They are double-sided, and they've got closures on the center. These are not pre-folded, just because, and I explain when I made them. Some of them have good sides, or two sides that you can make either side the outside, so I didn't fold it until the person who gets it, like this one, the person who gets it wants to fold it the way they want that on the outside, or they want that on the outside. So they are not pre-folded, so they can be put whichever way the person wants them. And there. So I'm going to show you my little secret to how I make these, and it is so simple. You're going to want to stay tuned. All right, so here are some of the ways that I've previously made some journals, and you've probably seen a million of these. So here is a book. I'm going to probably make this at some point because I love this end, wildflowers, and the cover is not too bad. I could probably put a little topper on there, probably put a hidden spine in there since I wouldn't want to put the stitching through there, but these heavy books make great journals, and I've got an older one that I might that I would want to cover up this inside, keep it, maybe reinforce the spine or replace the spine because it's a little tragic there, but it's a great cover. And then of course you have the lovely envelopes. Now this one was a padded envelope that I got, so it's got that squishy bubbling on the inside. It's a little bit smaller, so you fold it in half and you can make a tinier album. These are great to cover. You can cover them with fabric, you can cover them with paper too. It's a little harder to fold with that. And then I have these chipboard pieces. Now I've made these in the past. This one's a little bit thicker, I think, than I would probably normally use for, but this is great if you want to make paper ones. These are 12 by 12s. I get them on Amazon, and the way that I do them is I will cut a 3-inch strip over here to make this 9 by 12. So then the 3-inch strip is gone, and then I've got the 9 by 12, and I cut it in half, so I have two pieces that are 6 by 9, and that becomes the front cover and the back cover. And then this 3-inch strip is here. I would cut that down to the 9-inch height, and then however wide I want the spine, up to 3 inches. So you can have a pretty chunky book, or you can cut it down a little bit smaller. But this is a great way to use just one piece of cardboard, chipboard, and make that into one journal. Now with any of these, if anyone wants to see me actually make one on camera, please leave a comment below and I will make a separate video for it. A lot of these things are out there. I'm just kind of showing you the way some of the ones I've done before and how I like them. All right, so we got books, and we got envelopes, and we got scrapbook paper, chipboard paper. The other one that a lot of people make is using packaging. So you can do various sizes of packaging. You cut this one down, and I'm not going to make one for this today, but I'm going to just cut it down, use my scissors. But if you cut this down, a rip open piece. Sometimes there's a rip open piece. There it is. You can cut these down. I'm probably not going to cut them very straight, but you cut all the little flaps off of these. You can save one of these flaps because it's the same height. That could be a spine. Cut off all these other flaps, and for this box, and you can measure the box before you go and cut it apart, but you can make a journal from this box that is 5 by 7.5. So not a bad size for a journal. And like I said, this could be the spine, and then this piece in here. You could also, if you've got a box, keep it together. I've done that before. I might be able to show you on this one. But this could be a very fun size journal, like a pocket kind of journal. These kind of cardboards do work with fabric wrapping on them, and or paper, depending on how thick the paper is. But these are great ways to make quick and easy journals that are not expensive, because where's this going to go? It's going to go into recycling. So the same with this. Well, this spine is pretty big, but this one have an opening. you would cut out there, 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 and there. That would be the spine, and you could have a super tall, fun journal, right? That could be super fun to do. This would be a great idea journal to be able to put stuff in, or a ephemera holder journal, because you've got such great height on there, and also such depth to be able to put so many pages in there. So this would make a great, nice, huge ephemera journal. So those are the kinds. Obviously, there's a million different sizes you could use because there's so many boxes out there. But that is a couple ways to make journals out of boxes, by cutting them completely apart, creating its own spine, or keeping it together and having its own spine. I forgot to show these when I was doing the book ones. So this is a pretty popular one to do also when you're using books, is to make the little golden books. And I've got quite a selection here. I haven't made one in a while, so I think I might make one soon because there's bright, fun colors. There's a lot of videos out there on how to make them out of here. You can either cut the spine off and get rid of it, add your own. There's ways to save, they say save the golden spine. I've done it both ways. Sometimes you just can't save the golden spine. This one is pretty bad. 25 cents. Probably make this one for Christmas. I had a different one for Christmas last year. But this one I think I didn't pick because it was pretty well chewed. Yeah, it was chewed up, what I recall. This one is from 1958. So it's been around for quite a while. But yeah, you can take these books and make some fun journals out of those. So that is another option for the books. Instead of just using the book cover, is you use the book cover and the inserts. All right, so for my absolute favorite way to make journals now, like the ones that I showed you, is to make them out of watercolor paper. So this is the kind that I made out of all the journals here. The finished size of this is a 9 by 12. So when you fold in half, it makes a beautiful 6 by 9 journal. This one had a spiral on it. I'll show you the other book here. So this is where they came from. It is 9 by 12. It had 36 sheets on there. So the way that I make them, and I'll show you, is I do use 2 pieces of paper for one journal, a front and a back. So technically there is 18 journals in this spiral. And I do believe this is the one that I got at, not Dollar Tree, Five Below. I know there are ones, I've gotten them at Dollar Tree. I've gotten this one at Dollar Tree. It was $3. This one's a little smaller. It's 8 by 10, which would make a fine size journal. This one had 24 sheets, so 12 journals for $3. So not too bad of a price for that. And really what I'm just looking for is pieces of paper that are heavier, similar to the weight of the boxes, but a little bit heavier, not book weight, but we have that. So I had Five Below, Dollar Tree, and then if you had an Ollie's in your neighborhood, I found this one. It had only 12 sheets for $3.49, but this one is also 9 by 12, and these could also be put and used for centers of that. So since I have these 2 out, I'm gonna show you how I make the journal using these watercolor papers. Okay, so I found some fabrics that I have. These are Kathy Holden fabrics. I've made a whole series last year. My colored journals were made from Kathy Holden fabrics, and I do have some leftovers that I can make a whole nother batch. So be on the lookout that I'll probably be making a batch of those to also put on my eBay store. For them, I don't have all the colors again. It's just the way the fat quarters I had got separated. Not all of them worked to make a second journal, but this one is, and I thought it'd be fun to make a nice bright orange one. It's a cheery color for the summer, and yeah, so I'm gonna make one using this today, and we're gonna start with this. Now this, like I said, had the spiral, so it has holes in it. Not all of them have holes in it, but for these, what I did for them is I did take and I did cover up the holes with some washi tape. Nothing that would necessarily be seen through. The fabrics I think are dark enough, but I would just worry that if it was a little bit light fabric, I would worry a little bit about putting darker color washi tape on there, but I think it'll be okay. And it really just kind of, you barely can tell that there's any holes in there, and by the time you get the fabric on, you really can't tell. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that on both of these. Okay, it is very well burnished down. All right, we'll put the one to the side, and we're going to get the first one. All right, so I probably should have ironed these, but I think we're going to be okay with it for now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a little bit of some matte gel medium. I've used Mod Podge for this, as well as Fabri-Tac, but my Fabri-Tac is running a bit stiff, and my Mod Podge is downstairs. So matte gel medium it tis. And I had a brush. There she be. And we're gonna go ahead and do it. Now I have done it where I don't glue this completely down if the fabric was straight enough, but because it's not, I'm just gonna do that. All right, so I think I'm gonna make sure that before I do this, I'm gonna cut this down a little bit so I don't waste all of this fabric. So it is going to be wrapped around, so I just make sure that whatever fabric I have is tall enough. Since this is was it 10, 12, 9 by 12, so 9 by 12, so I got to make sure it's 11 by 14, which gives like about an inch on each side to roll over. All right, so this one I think we're going to be able to go to here, and you don't need a ton of, I find you don't need a ton of fold over because they're going to be married, kissed on top of each other. So I'm just going to cut it down this line so I can save this piece for something fun. All right. Okay, so now I got fabric to be able to glue on. And we'll glue. Now it's a little hard at the beginning to put some glue on here because this brush isn't saturated. When I made those other journals, I made them all at the same time. I don't remember how many there were, like 20 some journals. I forget how many. There was a lot, let's just say. And the brush starts getting saturated, so it gets a little bit easier to spread some of this on. And you do not need a thick coat whatsoever because you just want to be able to put this on here and spread it out. Actually, I'm going to do it this way and flip it over. I just want to make sure I have it centered as best as possible. There we go. You just want to be able to get enough glue on there so it just, come on, don't get a bump. There we go. So it gets rid of the wrinkles. Basically what I'm trying to do here. So that's why I said if there was no wrinkles, I wouldn't bother doing this part down, but okay, I think that looks pretty wrinkle free. All right, so if it was wrinkle free and it wasn't, what I would do is this next step. Now this might be the controversial part, but we're gonna go for it anyway. I am not cutting the corners. I know, right? Crazy? No, Lisa, cut the corners. No, I'm not going to. I started to. I get this weird angle. I get a cramp in my hand. I hate it. So we are going to glue this part up. And I'm going to do the other side. I like to do the opposites. And just put enough to have it go up and glue. Okay, now the reason that I don't do the corners is because when I do the second piece and it gets glued on here, the corners are completely hidden between the two layers. I will show you. There is the two layers. Now you cannot even tell, you cannot even feel that there is extra fabric there. Not that you can feel through the camera, but it doesn't make a lump. I can sort of feel just a hair right in there, but there's no lump, and it's beautiful. Okay, so we're gonna do this side. We're gonna do the same thing. We're just gonna put some glue. I'm gonna put it on top of the fabric and on top of the cardboard. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to fold it up, and I'm just gonna pull this tail part in a little bit so that it's not sticking past here. And I'll do it again over here. So I pull this up, I'll pull this, see how it starts to want to go out? I don't want it to go out. I'm going to pull that tail part in a little bit and glue. Now, glue. Now, since there's no glue now on that part because it's under the folded part, we're just going to go and add a little bit more glue. And you might get your fingers a little bit gluey, but that's okay. Hey, it's crafting, right? Put a little bit of glue on that and glue it down. And it doesn't matter if there's threads, fabric, whatever, because again, it's going to be sandwiched between two layers. Just want it down enough so that it doesn't want to pop up, but it should be fine. All right, let's do the other side. And put some glue. And there we go. All right, so we're going to pull this side up. Pull the little tail in a little bit. It doesn't even have to pull. It doesn't even have to be pulled in a lot. It just needs to be pulled in a little so that it's not hanging off the edge. All right, pull that tail in a tad and glue. All right, put a little bit of glue on there. And we'll put a little glue on there. And voila. Sticky mess, check. Okay, and voila, we have, whoops, upside down. We have a beautiful cover. I keep this like this so it dries, and I will go ahead and do the other side. I'm going to do this one on fast motion. All right, I'm gonna slow it down just so you see that part that's a little bit different from everybody else's. And also just to mention that if you might have noticed that I forgot to cut this shorter beforehand, but it was okay. Once I had it glued down, I was able to just eyeball it and cut that down. Also, you might have noticed I did the long sides first this time. And the first one I did the short sides. It really doesn't matter which ones you do. To be honest, it works the same way. So we're going to do like we did before. We're going to put some glue on the fabric and on the inside. We're going to just pull in that little corner and we're going to fold it up to have it stick. Pull in that corner and have it stick. Add a little bit of glue, add a little bit of glue, and do a little finale. There's a little bit of fold there, but you know, again, it's on the inside, so it's going to be buffered by the cardboard and a layer of fabric, and no one's going to know. No one's going to know. All right, let's do the last side here. I am almost out of this stuff. I'm going to have to go get some. This stuff works great. I use it, it's like I said, it's a matte gel medium. I use it to deglossify things. Like if I've got glossy pictures, I did it for my calendar pages, magazine pages, or just even stickers that are a little glossy. You don't want it glossy. You paint a little clear, or not a clear, well, it becomes clear, a thin coating on there, and it gives it a bit of a matte finish, not completely, and it is a, I wouldn't call it semi-gloss, but it's a little bit, it's definitely not glossy. But it also is a great glue, and it will, because it dries clear, and whoops, and you can see it a little sticky. All right, but yeah, so this jar, I think, I mean, this thing could be on 2 years almost that I've had it for. As you can see, it's almost here at the bottom. It was $12.99, and I'm pretty sure, knowing me, I got it on sale or used a coupon at Hobby Lobby. Master's Touch. I know there's a couple, I think Golden has one. There's a couple different brands out there. And I get a box of sponge brushes that can be thrown away. You can rinse them out and use them a couple times if you remember to do quick enough. And actually, I don't know why I closed that because I need to use it one more time. But anywho, all right, so there is the inside, the back. Beautiful. All right, so now I got the front and the back to be glued together. So if you want to do a completely different closure, you can just glue these together, and I'll show you how to glue them together. But what I like to do is to add a tie closure. So I have this strip of ribbon. It's probably about 6 feet long, a little shorter than 6 feet. It's about 40 inches. So probably even longer than I really need. But I like to add extra because you want to make sure you can get a nice bow on there. All right, so what I'm going to do is make sure I get enough the front and the back here. All right, I'm going to find the center. All right, so that's the center. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue it across in here. So I'm just going to take, I'm going to try to line this up so I know 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 2, 3. So like 4.5. I'm going to want to put like a glue stick or a glue glob across there. Now on the ones that I made previously, and that are the ones I'm selling on eBay, they all have the ribbon, and I did sew around the outside of it, and that also kind of locks it into place. Okay, so there's the center, and yeah, center's gonna be about there. That doesn't have to be perfectly centered because, you know, you could trim a little off if you wanted to. But we're going to come close to making sure. I could probably use some fabric tack on this because it is trim. But again, my fabric tack is running a bit on the thick side, I think. me see if I can get a little out. Just all right. Okay, I got a little out. Again, you don't have to worry about this ribbon slipping in and out, especially if you sew around the edges. But this just gives an extra bit of, oh, what you want to call it? Security. Okay. I've become a sticky, sticky mess. Okay, I'm going to push that to the side, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the glue to this to put on here, since I don't want to have to try to glue over the ribbon. Now, if you've got a top or a bottom of these, you want to make sure you know which way it's facing before you plant these two together. But this oil spill fabric really doesn't have an up or down, so I'm not too worried about which way it goes for it. So this is the one that if they were both, you know, printed, we want to make sure it's okay, but I think we're going to be okay. Okay. Now, so for the gluing part, and again, if you are going to sew it, you probably don't have to do as much glue on the edges. I like to, like I said, I like to sew it. I just think I like the look. But if you are not going to sew it, I would make sure you put enough glue all the way to the edges so that it sticks together. But I am going to just leave this to be close. And I'm really more concerned about the center, especially where it ends up eventually going to fold. Okay. All right. I want this one to be back because that's where the ribbon, the tape was. So I'm going to make sure that that is the back. Actually, that's the front. So that's the back. Okay. Only because I thought I saw a hint of a shadow of the tape. Sort of see a hint of a shadow of the tape in there. Not a lot, but I know it's there. Okay, so we're just basically, since the glue takes a minute to dry, we're just going to make sure that all four sides are not hanging over each other. They are even. Okay, let's make sure it gets pressed down. Now, I can't fold it because obviously it is going to be, it's wet, so we wouldn't want to fold it now. And I'm not going to sew it just yet. I did not really put glue on the outside when I was gluing the two together, but there's still glue when I was wrapping that around, so I wanted to make sure it gets really dry. I don't want it to gum up the machine or anything. All right, so that is how you make them. And this is why it was really not important, but really helpful when I mass made these, because I could, you know, glue, do all the I did all the tapes for the holes, which don't have to be done if you've got papers that don't have holes. I did the wrapping of each individual front and backs, and then I went through and I glued all of the ribbons. And after all the ribbons were done, I went back to the beginning and I glued the two layers together. And as they, you know, stayed and dried, by the time I got to the last one, the front ones, the first ones, especially since I did, I think it's about 20 of them, the first ones were dry enough that I could go and sew. I'll show you this one because you can see the back. I did sew a, not quite a zigzag stitch on these. It's more of a, like almost like call it a heartbeat stitch on them. And like I said, just to give it a final touch, and you know, these ribbons aren't going anywhere once all is said and done. This one I should have put a little bit more glue on for this, but it's the inside, so it's okay for that. But again, and I'm not folding it because I don't want people to, and they're probably going to put the butterfly on the outside, but maybe not. You're going to go ahead and fold it, and it leaves a beautiful, beautiful crease for the journal. So yeah, I love them. I think, like I said, this is my favorite way to make journal covers. I like the fabric ones. I have made the books. I've made the paper ones. I love the fabric ones. I think I've made so many different closures. I mean, you can check my playlist of things, and I've got several ways to close, along with putting grommets in there and putting the ribbon through there, buttons, snaps, just tons of different ways. But to make it the easiest and mass makiest, and really no problem making them almost foolproof, in my opinion, is making it this way. So yeah, go check out Five Below. I did get these a while ago, so they might not carry them anymore. Check out thrift stores, Dollar Trees, I mean, maybe even Walmart, because like I said, this is 140 pound. You could probably even get a little bit less. This is probably the thickest I would do. But you can find 9x12. I know there's mixed media books out there, and those have thicker sheets for it. But it just, like I said, I got out of this one 18. So yeah, like each piece of paper costs like 25 cents maybe on those. I'm not even sure my math is correct, but it's not a lot. Probably 50 cents to make a beautiful journal cover. Maybe more, maybe my math could be wrong, but okay. Well, if you have any questions on what I did, please leave it below. I'm going to be, like I said, making some more of these with my other Kathy Holden fabrics, and I know I've got the following fabrics available. I've got a red one I can make, and I got this fabric, which I haven't even used yet, so there's quite a bit. It's got numbers on there in browns, and then I've got, like I said, I've got a brown one, so very neutrally. I've got this red and yellow flower one, and I've got a yellow oil spill. This one I haven't used yet either, so I got a lot of that. I've got a green square with a green kind of oil spill. I've got the purple square with the purple oil spill. I got another set of browns, big squares like that, and oil spill. This one I never used because I didn't use brown as my color choice, so I might be able to even make, depending on how this lays out, I'll be able to make 2 of those. And then I got these 2 fabrics that are just, I'm not sure what to do with these because there's just so many colors, and I think I can only get 1 out of each of these, so I'm not sure if I'm going to make these together. Probably not. I think I've got some pieces that didn't have matching ones that I might be able to do that, or I might keep this just to cut up the little pieces to use for decoration. I haven't quite decided on this one, or tall, skinny. I haven't decided. I probably shouldn't have showed you. But that's a part of that Kathy Holden fabric fat quarter that I got too. So love these. You know, it's one of those, I just love these 2. Those little, I don't know what's called, milk caps, bottle caps. Well, actually postage, just circles and stuff. When you love it too much and you don't want to use it, those are what those 2 are. So I got, what I got? At least 1, 2, 3, if I could count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like 6 more. That one, so probably 7 more that'll end up on my eBay store at some point. All right, I'm going to jump in here to show the finished covers that I made that are going to be going up on my eBay store. So this is the orange one that I showed you that I was working on. I have folded it just to show you how wonderfully those papers fold. They don't completely shut down, but if you think about it, you're going to stick stuff in there anyway. So this is pretty good. I probably could try to get it to be bent a little bit more. I didn't cut the ribbon on it. It's probably longer than it needs to be, but I usually keep it long. And hopefully you can see I did that heartbeat stitching, and here's the inside. Nice crease for the fold for it to have the signatures get sewn in front and back. So this one, like I said, is folded just to show you how it looks when these become folded. I think I mentioned earlier in the video that I send them, when I ship them out, I do send them flat so that if you want to put one side forward and one side back, you can choose yourself. I'm not sure how the crease would work if you went, you know, if I creased it this way and you wanted it the other way, but I'm pretty sure this one, being that this would not be an outside one. So I did fold this one, but let me show you the other ones that I'm going to have available. I will, hopefully I should be able to put a link for the listing in eBay for these. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to put it with the other ones, add it to it, or if I'm going to have to make a whole another listing for it. But I'm going to call this one Orange Square and Oil Slick. I named them so you have know which one it is. So this is going to be obviously orange. All right, the next one is going to be called Red Squares with Red Slick, or Red Wave, Red Squares. I have the ribbon, which I thought was cute, kind of looked like a little country look with the white and white stitching on the red. And again, not going to fold it because to do it, but you see I have the same stitching on that one, red squares. And then I was able to do green squares, and this green squares also has kind of that oil spill on the back. The ribbon is the green with the white stitching again, nice and long to be able to tie, and again, not folded, but you saw how well they fold. So that is the green squares one. I love the little frog in here, he's so cute. And then probably one of my favorite when I made my original series, my original grouping of them was the purple. I love the purple squares. And again, same with the purple ribbon with the white trim. I thought it looked well. Oil slick on the back, again with the fun heartbeat stitching. So there is that one. And then I have this one, which is a red flower needlepoint. It might be hard to sell, but it's like a needlepoint picture. And this backside is the yellow oil slick. So I did add yellow trim. Now this trim is more of a bead, not a beaded cord, a braided cord. And I did tie the edge. And it looks like when they originally made it, they had burned the end, and there's a bit, that's a black on there. I'm gonna trim that off. No one needs the black. Get rid of that. I thought I trimmed it okay. Yeah, that side I trimmed okay. I did knot it because it will unravel. And I also thought the braided look, the texture of it with the dots was fun for this needlepoint look. So it has a very fun texture for it. So that is going to be red flower needlepoint for that one with the yellow slick on the back. And oops, upside down. I have two of the brown neutrals. This first one is going to be brown squares. I did add a satin ribbon to it. I did use the pinking shears to do the end for it. So it is the brown squares with the brown oil slick for it. I really like this one. This bird is very cute on here. So that's going to be brown squares. And the second one I'm going to call brown collage. This is more of a collaged item. There's that bird again, love it. This trim I put on there is a little bit more of a lacy trim. And I chose that because of this like beaded trim right there and this lace in here. I thought this one went well with the cover. And as you can see, there is a strip of a number fabric here, and that is the fabric I put on the inside. Is that same number slot kind of thing. So there is, again, the same heartbeat stitching for this. So this is going to be brown collage. So don't forget, I should have the link below. You can check out these as well as the ones I showed at the beginning of the video, all available on my eBay store. They also do come with papers, so you have a jump start on doing a journal. I will try to find that link for the original video, which shows which papers come with them. So you can see what comes with them to give you a jump start. Okay, well that is going to be it, I think, for me today. Like I said, I just wanted to show you my most favorite way to make journals. Not that there's not a million of them out there, but yeah, this is my favorite. I love it. Okay. Well, if you like the video, a thumbs up would be great. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell if you want to see some future videos. I am working feverishly to find some more Scrapbuster project ideas to create, because that has been very fun to do. I've been loving doing those projects, and I know a lot of you have been really looking forward to every time those pop up. So yes, I will be working on those in the upcoming weeks also. So that's going to be it for me today. Thanks so much for stopping by, and as usual, I hope you all have a wonderful and creative day. Bye for now.